All right, so thank you, everyone. It is March 26th. It's March 26th, 2025, and we're going to call to order the library board meeting at this time, and it is 3:39. All right, I'll do a roll call. I got the wrong agenda. I said January 8th. Okay. She is always, I just realized. Sorry, it says it's supposed to be, oh, geez.
There are context clues down further.
Yeah,
Okay,
sorry. As you can tell, I'm sick. I'm almost like, oh my gosh. So it's March 26th. That's when it's changed. I don't know. Okay, roll call. Joanna Daniel.
Jim Holcomb.
Bailey Lowe.
Cam2.
Mike Bryan.
Paul McCoy.
Jackie Wheeler.
Thank you so much. All right. First, we're going to start off with the invocation. And, Mike, would you mind doing the invocation?
Sure.
Thank you.
Heavenly Father, we come to you in Jesus' name, and Lord, we just proclaim that we are here as your servants to hear the voice of the Holy Spirit and to be mindful of everything that needs to be done to honor you, glorify you, Lord, for our county and for our children especially. And we just ask you, Lord, to guide us and direct us and bring a peace over this meeting that we can all just be calm and bring up the things that really need to get talked about and dealt with. And we just ask you, Lord, to guide us into those things. And we know you, Holy Spirit, we know you lead us into all truth. So that's what we want to do. We just want to be, we want your truth to be brought forth. So we just thank you for that, and we just lean on you, and we're depending on you, Lord, and we thank you for loving us like you do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Welcome, honey. We let everybody know why you're late. We thank you so much for taking the time to be here. We appreciate you. So, approval of the agenda. First of all, it's March 26th, not January 8th, so apologize, everybody. I started getting sick on Thursday, and it's been full-blown, and I'm on the mend. Doesn't sound like it, but still not quite in my brain yet, so that needs to be changed to March 26th. I do, I'm going to ask him, I will entertain a motion to add an H. Anita sent me in her packet, and I overlooked because I hadn't had a chance to look at it, and then she sent me an email reminder, I think it was yesterday. So the Friends of Portland Library are asking a fundraiser, so we just need to put that on the agenda today. So I'll entertain a motion for H to put Friends of Portland Library fundraiser. Motion by Pam.
Second.
Joel, second by Mike. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? All right, I'm entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as amended for today, March 26th, and H. So moved by Jim. Second by Jackie. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. All right. Approval of minutes for January 8th.
I have a correction under J. What is that? 8J. Employee dress code. It's either Mike or me, and I don't know what it's Mike, it says Mike McCoy made a motion. So,
Yeah. That's all you need.
oh, you're good. I actually don't know which one of us did it, so. But
There's Jay.
I think 8J, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the employee dress code section.
Oh, Paul McCoy, okay.
It says Mike McCoy.
Oh, where's the,
Second from the bottom line.
oh, there it is, okay. Gotcha.
I didn't catch that because I actually know Mike McCoy. So good for Mike.
Okay.
So who was it? I'll have to go back and look.
I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
And
Let me,
I'm fine if it's
actually,
And I'm fine. Yeah.
I actually have my notes here, so I can see. This is Mike and Erica. So it would have been Mike Brown.
all right, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes as amended, as corrected, I should say.
So moved.
Moved by Mike, Ryan. Do I have a second?
Second.
By Jim. All in favor, say aye. Anybody opposed? And any abstentions? Okay. All right, now we'll move on to February 21st, 2025 special call minutes. I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes from February 21st, 2025 special call meeting.
So moved.
Moved by Mike. Do I have a second? By Erica. All in favor, say aye. Anybody opposed? And any abstentions? Okay. All right. Now we're going to move on to recognition of public. Also, I apologize. I wanted to note that Anita from Portland is here, Kathy from Calgary is here, Amy from Millersville is here, Phyllis from Westmoreland is here, and Alicia from Hendersonville is here as well. Do we have, I think we do we have some friends in the audience? Okay. Would you mind introducing yourself, because we love that friends are here, and we'd like to know what friends group you're from.
Yes, I'm Nancy Crawford, and I'm on the sign up sheet to speak, and I got to meet you yesterday,
Mhm.
Joanna. I live in Millersville, friends, also Hendersonville, but today I'm speaking to Millersville.
Okay, great, thank you.
I'm Jolene Cannon, I'm a member of the Portland Friends and also of the Galaxy.
Wonderful, thank you.
My name is Susan Haslam, I'm part of the Portland Friends, I'm secretary right now for Portland Friends.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay.
I'm Linda Ackerman with Portland.
Oh, okay.
I'm Rick Grimm with Portland Friends.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. Glad to have you all. Appreciate it. All right, so we do have some people signed up for public comment. We're gonna set to 3 minutes. Let me set a timer on here. All right, first, we have Nancy.
Nancy Crawford.
Thank
Where
you.
would you like me to stand?
You can stand right up over here now.
Okay.
And just, state where you're from, and then what agenda item you're speaking.
Okay. I'm Nancy Crawford, 577 Hogan Branch Road in Hendersonville. I'm a lifelong resident of Tennessee, 45-year resident of Sumner County.
I'm here to speak on behalf of the Millersville Library, and I noticed on the agenda item that Andy Corbett will be making a report about the library. I was able to meet Joanna yesterday when she came to our Friends Committee meeting. I have written each of you, I've emailed each of you in the past. Perhaps you weren't on the board when I've written the board. Now you will have my face when I email you in the future, and thank you for your service. I want to speak to the wonderful effort that Ms. Corbett brings to the Millersville Library. I've been a patron since it's opened. I've been a member of the Friends since that became available to my husband and me. I have seen the library grow, how much it enhances the community. Her involvement in the community is outstanding. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Rick Grimm, please.
Rick Grimm, 475 A.B. Wade in Portland, Tennessee. I just want to say thank you for putting their book sales request for a fundraiser on your channel. The fundraiser will help us support the many programs that we provide at the library, especially the children's reading program during the summer. Also on the agenda, you have the kiosk request from the Portland Library concerning the DMV kiosk, and please give that serious consideration. When we're talking about living in Portland, it's a 17-mile trip down here to Gallatin, 34 in the long run, okay? And it would help be a very convenient item to have available at the library for all of the citizens of the area of Westmoreland and Portland and general area. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. All right. Neither of you spoke for 3 minutes. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right.
Can I make just a public note? I'm so sorry if I'm making little, if I'm checking my phone a lot today. My grandson was having a procedure done, so it has my attention. So I'm sorry, and I hope it does not appear rude.
No problem.
As it should have your attention.
Yes, exactly. Okay, all right, so we have moved on. Okay, so that's recognition of the public. Thank you so much. Okay, now it is on to the report of the chairman. I just want to thank everybody so much. As I've been on the library board since November of 2022. To say it's a learning experience, it's a little, that's going to describe it. So it has been a wonderful being the chair of the library board, and I appreciate you all for trusting me as the chair. I really appreciate the library board chair roundtables that the regional have, and I've been able to attend them, and I just learned so much. You know, when you get on the board, you like this, and a public board especially, I've been on other boards, but not this public, you learn a lot of things, and you find that a lot of things are are misinterpreted by the public and yourself as well. And when I got on this board, we had bylaws that were so out of date that when I read the bylaws to come to the board meeting, it said we were meeting at 1 p.m. on Wednesday. And so I put in my schedule, like, okay, 1 p.m. And then come to find out, no, we're actually meeting at 3:30 p.m. But the bylaws were never changed. And I was like, how does that happen if bylaws are the governing document? So I came in and just trying to find out what the board responsibilities are and doing the modules, going to the trustee training, and still found out that didn't have a clear definition. And honestly, the public was completely confused and had a misrepresentation of what the authority of the board is. And so, what I want to do right now, and I think even the commissioners, we are finding that commissioners aren't even aware of what exactly is the authority and the role of the library board. And through no fault of most people, because they just don't know. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to read a few things because they have this great comparison of responsibilities between the board and the library directors. And just want to clarify a few things because there's been some stuff said at commissioners meetings that is really not quite true, and maybe through no fault of their own. Maybe they just don't have the right information. But also, I know that there's some things that have been put on Facebook and social media that are untrue as well. So I just want to read a few things about what is the trustee's responsibility and what is the library director's responsibility. You know, and I think that this is good to know for the directors, so they know what their boundaries are, we know what our boundaries are, and we can all understand what the expectations are. So, for the trustees, the duties and responsibilities include legal responsibilities as established by statute and establishment of policies governing the day-to-day operation of the library. So we are to create policies that govern the day-to-day operation of the library. Okay. The library director is responsible to the library board for implementing the board-adopted policies and long-range plans for the development of the library programs. So the library directors, we are to create the policies. They are responsible for implementing the board-adopted policies. The trustee, and this is something that I now am going to put on our responsibilities. Develop and adopt a long-range plan, including objectives addressing the use of technology for the library, review and revise it as necessary to meet changing needs. We are to inform funding bodies and friends regarding current local, state, and federal library issues and trends. This is good to know, so I know to be more in contact with the friends groups, okay? Which I have been since January. I've been trying to contact the friends group and invite them, and trying to make it to friends groups meetings. Trustees, develop and adopt essential policies, including but not limited to personnel, library use conduct, collection development, materials reconsideration, internet safety facilities. The library director, to develop procedures to implement policies adopted by the board and advise board when additional policies are needed. And this was when we created the collection development policy. We created a policy and gave it the responsibility of the library directors to implement policies adopted and by the board, and to implement policies adopted, and for them to create it. Okay, sorry, can't talk. All right, annually work with the library director on the preparation of a written budget with adequate justification for each element. Work with county and city officials to ensure that the budget is prepared in the formal format. We, as a board, are supposed to work individually with each library director. That is our responsibility to do that. And we have to know what is the justification for each element. That is why we have to know exactly, so we have to meet with the directors. Why are you asking for this? Why are you not asking for this? It's very important for us to do that. We are to present the prepared budget to the appropriate public officials and to the general public, explain and defend it, attend budget hearings with the library director. The library director is to attend the budget hearings. It is the responsibility of the board to present them. It is our responsibility to go to these and explain and defend it. That hasn't been happening for years. if needed, design funding formula to distribute county, city, and funds to libraries and/or branches. We are to request a financial report from funding body if needed, and review at each library board meeting. Monitor line items to determine how expenditure by line item compares to a line item budget. It's not micromanaging. It's our responsibility to look at each line. That is the responsibility of the board. So when we get pushed back on, oh my gosh, I'm micromanaging, no. It is our responsibility to do that. Review procedures and records for accuracy and completeness, and arrange for an annual audit. I didn't know this. So we're actually supposed to be arranging for an annual audit of these things. So, and then the library directors are to assemble all documents for an annual audit. Okay? Just a few more here. We are to establish a well-defined employment procedure to be followed for all positions, not just the director, for all positions. Be sure that all local, state, and federal laws are met regarding advertising of positions and maintenance of personnel records. We are to establish job descriptions, salary scales, benefit packages, personnel policies. All should be based upon jobs of comparable nature in the government department. We're supposed to be doing this. The director is to follow the board's adopted employment procedure for filling staff vacancies, advise the board when additional positions are needed to improve the delivery, follow the board adopted job descriptions, salary scales, personnel policies, and notify each staff member of changes. Advise the board of needed policy changes. We are to monitor the administration of the library for effective use of personnel, quality programs, and materials. And we are actually require staff to attend professional development. Hence why you see on the agenda today, checking about staff training. Collection development. Establish a collection development policy and materials, reconsideration policy, and review it annually. We actually review this annually. I didn't know it was reviewing it annually. Okay, so the policy must reflect the minimum requirements established by the library service agreement, which we did in 2023. In addition to a selection policy, establish a deselection policy that includes disposal procedures, recognize the facts that materials do wear and tear, and encourage regular weeding. The director, select materials in accordance with the collection development policy and selection plan. Follow board procedures for addressing citizens' concerns. And maintain a regular schedule of removing materials. This means no matter who is responsible for it, there should be a continual, maintained schedule of removing materials. That is the director's responsibility to make sure that that happens. Trustee, encourage the staff to apply for grant funds to demonstrate and or establish a need for a specific program by specific group. We do not write grants. That is not the board's responsibility. Okay? Director, prepare written grants in specific areas to improve the quality of materials and services to specific segments of the population or needs of the library. So again, we don't write any of the grants. That is not our responsibility. Therefore, it is not a qualification to be on the board. It is a qualification or an expectation of the director. And trustees, regularly communicate with the Friends group. I just want to say to Friends, I am very sorry that we have not been communicating for the last few years. And I want you to know that moving forward, that will be a priority of this board. And lastly, there was a resolution that came before the commissioners that was voted down by one vote. And even our own commissioner that's on this board voted for this resolution to come forward. Subsequently, it was voted down. That basically is saying that this board, and especially Jim and I, are not doing our job. Our libraries are safe for children. This is false. This is something that I cannot believe was even brought forth, and that our own library board member voted to bring it forth. This is something that I, as a chair, especially since I was named, and Jim, our vice chair, was named in this, this is something that we take very serious. And as the chair of the library board, I'm going to make sure that this resolution remains false. Not only for the betterment of our libraries, but as our responsibility to state law and to our community. So, that concludes the report of the chairman.
Amen.
All right. Moving on to old business. Old business, we have one thing, which is the DMV kiosk. If this DMV kiosk were to come into effect, we would have to create a policy around this as well. So I will entertain a motion to open this for discussion.
Motion to open.
Second.
By Pam, second by Mike. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. This has been, I think we've actually had this since November of last year. Do you remember in January, though, that Cecilia said that the person that was overseeing this actually resigned, and there's another person? I'm just going to put it out there, in my opinion, DMV kiosk doesn't belong in the library. All of our cities have city buildings, so in my opinion, this would be a better place than the city building. The Portland Library is pretty close to the city building, and it literally just has to go across the way to go to it. Also, as I've heard from numerous of our directors, library employees are already overtaxed with, things to do. They're already underpaid and overwhelmed. We're here. In my opinion, this is something that people are going to be like, hey, this isn't working, or hey, I need help with this, or hey, it's going to be another thing for our directors who are underpaid and overworked, okay? That's what I hear all the time. It's going to be another thing for them to have to deal with. And in my opinion, again, this is to renew driver's license, and to get a new driver's license, put it in the city building where people can actually possibly get more help from people. And to me, that is a more appropriate place for it.
I have a question about this, because I wasn't on the board in November, so I'm late to this conversation. I'm trying to catch up. Aren't these vending machines, basically, where you can go and get your driver's license through a machine? Okay, and I know that some of the directors want them. I'm not familiar with the Portland City building, and I don't know about the other cities, what their city facilities are like, whether or not they have room at all. But I don't see the problem with having them. I mean, I just did finish this training, which again was great, that training. But libraries of the future, these are service organizations that provide not just access to books, not just access to computers, but access to a variety of services. And if it's a machine that's sitting there that people can go to that, friends from the Portland Library say they want, Other people, other directors are saying they want, I don't see the problem with it if they want the machine, if it's a machine.
I can address the city building.
Oh,
There, it was remodeled not long ago, and when it was, it's very difficult to get around. Everything is shut. I mean, you have to go through different parts of the building to get through it. It's not, to me, it's not a public-friendly building.
I agree.
Because of you've been in.
I agree. It is.
You've been in too.
I've been in too much time too.
You know,
And the
to
parking
me,
is
it's
terrible.
not a public-friendly
that raises,
building. Something that the general public is just gonna come in and not, I mean, you know, you'll have to be directed somewhere.
that raises
And all
an
that.
interesting question. If this machine might actually bring people into the library that wouldn't otherwise go and find.
And the hours are better at the library.
I mean, I can say I have recently, in November, I went with my daughter who used one in Davidson County. I have the same concerns of making sure that we don't create more work. I definitely agree with that. I want to protect that, like with respect. I want to protect that. But I can say that they were like, it's over there, and we have no idea. Like, there you go. You either figure it out or you don't. It was just kind of over in a corner, and you either figured it out. There wasn't assistance that would be available. So, my heart is this. I think it is a great tool as long as it's not taxing on our workers. I mean, that would be my input. It was easy to use, and I will say it was wonderful. It did meet our needs, and it was nice to have access for the hours that it was available. So, I mean, those are truths. And I do know some of our libraries are in places where they don't have good circumstances nearby for those options. We have some that they have options very readily available, but Portland comes directly to mind. Millersville is dear to my heart as well, so I don't know where to put it in Millersville, but you know, I'm open to it as long as it's not taxing on our workers. And I don't know how to guarantee that, so.
Exactly, and that's where I'm gonna say that I haven't met a library worker that isn't willing to help or wants to help out. So that's where I'm saying is the heart of library workers is, oh my gosh, let's figure this out. And while I would like to say it's not gonna be taxing or you're not gonna get assistance, I'd like to, which library director here isn't gonna stop everything to help somebody?
Absolutely.
So, and what clerk isn't gonna stop everything to go help or to figure it out? So I understand what you're saying, but is it realistic that someone isn't gonna help? And I've been to Portland. I've met the mayor numerous times, and that's an interest. I thought it was an old bank. I was like, what is this going on? But everybody in Portland has to go there, right? They have to go there to get things done, right? But it is a city building.
Drive through to pay your utilities, and that's about it.
Exactly.
but it would also be great if people that don't normally come to the library found that, oh, I could go to the library and do this, and then they come in and they can find something else that wants to keep them there or make them come back. I see it as a tool to get new audiences that we don't normally get at our libraries.
We could use that argument for anything.
And we should.
And when do we stop the library?
When we need to build bigger libraries. And then we
But
keep
it's
making that argument to build bigger libraries.
But the library
Is a service
is
organization.
not, but it is for books and education.
And also for services. You can get access to information there. You can get databases. You can go there if you have a reference question. And if there's a vending machine in the corner that lets you renew your driver's license, you ought to be able to go over there and get your driver's license renewed. If it's not going to cause a problem. That's my opinion on it. So.
Yeah. I see it as causing a potential problem. And again, where does it stop? Because everyone's going to use that argument. And when do we then our libraries become overworked again? Why not put it in the city policy?
Who can do much on this, like any type of maintenance or error codes or anything like that. I'm sure they don't want them to touch it, except, yeah, I would imagine there's strict rules for that.
Who does oversee the kiosk when it's there? I mean, who maintains it? Who comes in and checks to make sure everything's working? I mean, the library wouldn't do that. So who puts the kiosk there and who makes sure that it's working and plugged in and all that? So I'm just saying, so do they come check it once a week to make sure it's working and refill the driver's license?
I don't know if you
Things.
would know, but since there has been conversation lately, would you like to suspend Robert's rules and see if, my friend just went.
Yeah, I'm making a motion to
Yeah.
Yes.
suspend Robert's rules, please.
Yep, second.
Who's the,
That was Mike.
Mike, second,
I'll give you that.
second by Paul. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Anita, do you know who, do you know?
It's the state, it's
It's the
the
state.
Department of Homeland Security.
Yeah.
Yeah, they come and there is paper that's required, certain type and everything, and they come periodically. I don't know what period it is, but they do come periodically to check the machine, make sure that everything's running good, and to refill it.
Do you know what that involves? Did they tell you? Okay. Did they tell you this is completely maintenance-free for you? We're gonna come in and deal with this, so you all don't have to do anything?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that there won't be a straight question, about
Right.
what it is or something like that. But for the most part, yes, they said it's fully automated, automatronic, whatever you want to call it, to where it takes care of itself. Yeah. There is actually, Stephen, isn't there one in this building?
Yes,
There
there's one
is.
at the county clerk's office.
And so, but also, you're helping somebody with something such as sensitive as the DMV and stuff. I've seen many problems with that, so. Any other questions?
At least you had a comment.
So,
I was just going to say with the Department of Homeland Security, with the DMV thing, it's not necessarily periodically, it's set up a lot like our printer, so when our ink goes low, it actually notifies the Homeland Security that device needs to be refilled. So it's pretty much on top, it says that if it does run out, or it's starting to get low, it's usually refilled before it can actually get tested, because they use algorithms and statistics to see how often.
okay.
While we're in suspended rules, how many libraries want these? 3? Is it just you?
I did one that the board recommended that the library was too small, so I would do that.
Okay, so this is just for you guys, okay, yeah, okay.
The city building in Westmoreland is maybe a third of this room. You walk in, there's a counter, all you can do is pay your bill and leave. Our library, while I'm not on board with it, is because, there again, we are too small. And it would be too much of a temptation for them to come to us and keep us busy. But for the Sumner County needs more of these. So Westmoreland is close enough important that it would benefit, And if you ever use one at the DMV, okay, there ain't nobody coming to your rescue down there. So you get on that machine and you gotta do your thing, or, it ain't what you have to get up there in that line, you wait 4 hours. Yeah, that's, so.
The great thing, there's books there if you gotta wait in line.
That's right.
Check out that.
Okay. If they post it maybe that the library personnel is not equipped to really assist you with this, which is a different, entity altogether.
Okay.
So that's just in, Portland's defense to have this, because I think it would benefit Westmoreland also. And I appreciate you bringing that up too.
Alright. Okay, thank you so much. Alright, I'm gonna bring us back into session. Okay,
Do you need a motion to write a policy first, or do we need a motion to get the machine and then write? What do we need to do? Cart before the horse is what I'm asking.
I think it's approve the machine and then
Write the policy.
needed.
And what about a trial period, 90 days or 6 months or whatever, to see what problems arise? If there's no problems, we keep
she's
it?
raising her hand. Make a
No,
motion.
sorry, no.
That's okay, entertain a motion to suspend Robert's rules. So moved by Pam, second by Kaylee, all in favor say aye. Aye.
I just wanted to say, I have reached out to the new person that's in charge of this and everything, and it could still be another 2 or 3 months before this even comes down the line. We're still on a list to get one and everything. I just need approval to be able to sign the lease agreement that legal's already looked at and everything, says it's okay. I just need to have approval to do that, to keep us on the list, so that 3, 4, 5 months down the line, when we do finally get to the top, we will be considered for it on the machine. So a policy is not, immediate. It
Sure.
can be further down the line.
Okay.
I just need approval to be able to sign this agreement.
So then what about a trial period? Would that be something that would be?
With them, I haven't.
Well, how long is the lease? Like, Mike, I would imagine once there's a lease, and
You're
in it.
locked into a lease.
Yeah, I'm
No,
just talking
lease
about
does
for the board
Right, but the
purposes.
lease does say can be, ended on either party.
If I recall, so.
Yeah.
At any time, like month to month, kind of thing.
Exactly, yeah.
So
So if we
it
do
can't-
it and we find that we don't want it or whatever, we can break, end it.
Get out. And no problem. Okay,
No problem with it.
okay.
So if we find that it is, taxing upon our employees and everything, then we can say, if we tried it, then we're paid back.
Okay.
I think it's just the best of both worlds, to where we, it's not one way or not. And
I'm supportive of it.
Marie,
I'm sorry,
second session.
I'm in support of it as long as there's signage that helps limit the
That was
the interruption.
the policy.
And the policy be written. I think it would benefit Portland a lot.
Okay.
And maybe.
And the
All right,
fact that
so we'll go ahead.
Anita's gonna report to us every time we meet. So we're gonna hear how it's going. We're gonna get those updates on our, timely basis. So we're gonna stay informed.
Okay. All right, so I'll entertain a motion, to approve the DMV kiosk.
so moved.
So moved by Mike, second by Kaylee. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No. I'm opposed. Okay. All right, on to new business. All right, we are going to move on to the bylaws. These are the changes to the bylaws. You should have received these. Entertain a motion to open for discussion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Jim, second by Mike. All in favor say aye. Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? The only thing that, after talking with a few people about this, is that the quorum, I found some better verbiage for this. Instead of under quorum, for quorum of majority of seated board members, found duly serving or appointed must be present in person to conduct business. And the reason why one I felt is needed is one, they changed this from 11 to 9, which we voted on that in November of 2023. Anyway, and then also, as we have found in the last year and a half, getting appointed library board members is quite a procedure and quite the dramatic. and quite interesting. Also, at one point in time, we only had 6 people on the board. And one of the people was sick, we couldn't do a meeting. Then I had to be out of town for work unexpectedly. We literally couldn't do work. We couldn't do any business for 4 months. And that was during budget season. And lots of things got messed up. So, in Robert's rules, we have the ability to create our own quorum according to our bylaws. And so, opinion, it should be majority of those duly appointed, sorry, or, how do I have to talk about this? Forget the time, just keeps going. Sorry. So duly serving or appointed, so, and we could even put a quorum of transaction, majority, which is, we could put, half plus one, could define it. Majority, which is half plus one of the duly serving or appointed members must express the person to conduct business. That way, we don't run into that problem ever again.
So it's a floating majority is what you're saying.
Depending on the number of people
On the board.
Not 6 members, right?
Yes. Yes. That way.
It's allowed in Robert's rules.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Because we can create the majority, and it says involuntary
majority of the board members appointed for the size of the board, right? So even if it's not, well, it's a legal question, so I don't know, but this, I've never heard that before.
This was my question, like in the nonprofit and county government world, Robert's rules are a little different. Like in the nonprofit world, what you're describing is perfectly normal. That's what I see all the time. But in this training I just did, they had specific numbers in the
For the size of the board.
for the size of the board.
Yeah, and that's all I know.
And I
I've
don't,
never heard
is
of
that
it.
is that a TCA code or is
I don't
that?
know, I'm looking at it, I don't know, I wouldn't know.
That was the only question I had about it, because I'm used to this way where it can be like
Ordinarily,
if your board shifts.
Ordinarily, it's majority members of the board. You do have the authority to have it in some other manner, but, typically with most boards, it's the majority of the members of the board. But like you said, it's up to your all's discretion. But ordinarily, like in this case with 9 members, it would nearly be 5.
5, just say it and make sense.
But we could do it according to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, for instance, if we had gone down to 6, like we were stuck at, which was quorum with 11 spots, when we only had 6 that were filled, we were only the quorum. And so, like she said, I had a funeral one time, you had sickness. So, I mean, I do hear the wisdom in that. We are a full board right now, right? I know. So I mean, 5 would be great, but if we ever were to dip below that, it does help have some give so that the board can meet and function if needed.
Robert's Rule speaks about the authority of the board to do this. This is in Rule 3.3.3. In an ordinary society, a provision of the bylaw should specify the number of members that shall constitute a quorum, which should approximate the largest number that can be depended on to attend any meeting, except in very bad weather or extremely unfavorable conditions.
Mm-hmm.
I think that should have
I
helped
did
the
my due
board.
diligence.
I'm in support of it. I think
I
we
have
should
that
have
marked
the
out
board
too.
of whoever's on it. Majority plus 1, I think it was fair.
Yeah, for sure, me too.
Well, good thing it's not dependent on 9 members or 5, majority of the time.
Thank you, Stephen. Appreciate that.
Are you advocating for majority plus 1 or just a simple majority?
I mean, I was just agreeing with what she presented, which is majority plus one. I'm sorry, half plus one. Let me
I think that is
read
half.
Yeah, just to make it a specific number.
Okay, I was like,
I was listening.
Yeah,
Majority plus one would be.
I was.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, half plus one.
Yeah, we have a specific number.
Yeah.
okay.
Makes
If we
most
get
sense.
to a position where, you know, commissioners want to hold up seats as people rotate off the board, yeah, that would allow the board to continue to do business
Yeah.
and not allow the, you know, commissioners to regulate the work of the board.
Yes,
They essentially prevent them from doing that.
yes,
Okay.
exactly. That way, nobody outside of the board has authority over business getting done if we have the majority.
So we're allowed to do our responsibility.
Exactly.
That's really.
That's the most important thing.
Not to be enjoyed by, yeah,
Yeah.
we got it.
All right, so,
So it needs to say half plus one. Or
No,
the verbiage,
just
the
majority.
verbiage here is not what you said, so what does it need to say?
the quorum of a majority of, Steve, do you mind borrow you one more? How I have it written, a quorum of a majority, should I put half, which majority meaning half one? Or how I have it, a quorum of a majority of the seated board members must be present in person to conduct business. Does that sound
You
okay?
could say something like, if you want to accomplish it, that probably something like a majority excluding vacant seats, majority of board members excluding vacant seats.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would make,
Quorum
that would cover all
of a
bases.
majority,
Excluding.
Quorum is a majority excluding vacant seats.
a
I think that's what
quorum
you're trying to accomplish here.
is a majority
Of board.
excluding
Vacant seats.
vacant.
Majority of the board excluding vacant seats.
Thank you.
He put that back in, because he originally had said that.
Excluding
Majority of the board.
vacant seats. Is that correct? So a quorum is the majority of the board excluding vacant seats.
Yes. I mean, that's what I believe your intent is.
Yes,
Yes,
it
thank
is.
you.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll just put quorum. So then B, under Article 5, meeting A, B will read, a quorum is majority of the board excluding vacant seats. And then a quorum for the transaction of business shall consist a majority of the board excluding vacant seats. Yes.
Okay, question. If there is one seat vacant, then there are 8 seated members of the board. Is a majority 4 or 5?
It'll be 5.
Half plus
Okay,
one.
half plus 1, okay.
Yeah,
So, I mean, specifically, if it's an even number, you would have to do the plus one. If it's an odd number, it's obviously.
That's right,
we
gotcha,
are, right?
okay.
Okay. So do you need to qualify that?
You don't have to say half plus one.
Majority is.
Yeah, majority.
Yeah.
majority is half plus one.
And it says that we operate according to Robert's rules, so it would default to what Robert's rules is,
Yeah.
and Robert's rules is half plus one. Okay? As you saw, I'm upping our board meetings to 10 times a year. And, I just really feel that with 5 libraries, so we really need to do that. Having every other month, and, there's so much. And guys, we have so many policies to go through. I'm just like, oh, and we have, and as, again, there's so much more that we should be doing, and I knew this, and I thought that we should be doing. So, anyway, so that, except for June and December, I kept June out, in respect of the directors, because, June is crazy town. And then December, as well, so.
What, are we not using study sessions anymore?
Not if we change this.
That would be in place of that.
Okay. My concern is that, you know, the board meetings as we have them where we are voting on all these things, this takes a lot. The study sessions, it seems like is a great place to hash out particular issues where we don't have a vote pending. We can talk about all these things. I don't know. I see your point about 5 organizations, but it's really 5 budgets. All the policies are really for one organization. It's the whole system. But I don't know that. I think 10 meetings in a year might be too much.
Paul,
And that,
this, but we have still had 10 meetings a year.
Yeah.
I'm all for the 10 meetings. I'm talking about 10 voting meetings in a year. I think
Yeah,
might be
for sure, 10 voting meetings in a year.
So, Paul, yeah, so the 3 of us came on at the same time, so we were told, we were told it's every other month, which that was.
so was I was told that too.
It was every other month, and Jackie had even said, but we usually put in these extra roundtable or study sessions so that it was to earmark that space in our schedule. So if a special call needed to be called, and it very commonly was. So like, that's why we say it's felt very common.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
It's not been every time, but it's been very common, so it's just us making it documented now rather than maybe we'll have a meeting and maybe we won't. It's every other month.
So you can't have a vote at a study session right now?
No.
Okay.
But if you turn
If you turn it into a special call, which
And very
is,
commonly they were
okay.
changed into.
But you have to, you know, and you
Yeah.
have to have an agenda.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
referring back to the chair roundtables, what I've found is that many library boards that oversee 1, possibly 2, actually have meetings on a monthly basis. It is not, actually, we're in the abnormal.
Meeting for like an hour and a half.
When they have them more frequently.
When they have them
Yeah.
more frequently, instead of them being 3-hour meetings. Yes.
I was told every other month, and they're only about an hour to an hour.
Yeah. Thank you.
When I got voted in, and I was asking, what's the plan here? How does this go?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. But changing that language doesn't change the missed meeting language at all.
For the attendance?
Yeah. That stays the same.
Yep.
Yeah, you have more chances to miss an official called meeting.
Yeah. In my opinion, if you're gonna be on the board, you should be on the board. This is a huge responsibility.
I mean, that's one of the reasons I'm here.
Exactly.
I'm under a circumstance that most people would not be, and I'm here today.
My voice
Take
is,
that seriously.
my voice is gone, and Kaylee, your husband,
I've
and,
only ever missed 1 meeting and that was last.
yeah, exactly, so. Okay, yes,
I have a question about the removal, just
Where?
below that, is that something that, the misrepresent meetings, you will be removed from the board? I'm not sure, and I guess that's a legal question, maybe, that if this board can remove anyone, if you just recommend removing based on the bylaws. That's the question.
And that's without notification, I mean, like,
Yeah,
they're
without
understanding.
prior notice.
I actually, because I did have legal look over this, they didn't find a problem with that. Huh? Yes, when we were doing this whole thing. And I don't think there's any, it's under
I just want
attendance,
to make sure, I don't want to.
no problem.
Attendance,
Under C, attendance, and it is in,
what article?
Article 3, board members, under C, attendance, and A, I don't see anything in fact, there's nothing in statute that says that we can't remove a member.
I'll have to get with Derek and get back, just to make sure that there wasn't any cross wires anywhere.
Sure.
So, it just seems a little odd to me. I'll check into it though.
Okay, thank you. And I do believe that, you were there when we were doing these as well. these
That was
bylaws.
2 years ago. I
I know, but I had both you and Eric look over these bylaws and look over them. So I do believe that you
can't recall.
were working closely with us at the time. So, okay, well, okay. Thank you. All right, so I'll enter a motion to,
Were there other changes before you do that?
Okay. Go ahead.
I would like to leave that language in about recommending how many members from what area of the county, that we have two from Hendersonville, two from Portland, two from Gallatin, one from Westmoreland, one from Milledgeville, and one at-large instead of three at-large for the membership representation.
My reason for taking that out is because, in my opinion, there's no reason to, we all represent the county and all the libraries. I went to Westmoreland so many times. I've gone to Gallatin so many times. And in my opinion, that only caused more problems when appointing people to the board from the commissioners. There was that argument, we need someone from Westmoreland, or we need someone from Gallatin, or we need this, and we need that. And it just, in my opinion, there's no statute that says that. There's nothing that says that we have to do that.
But our government, we have two senators from every state in the 50 United States. It's equal. Our districts for our commissioners are across the county.
We're not districts.
No, but
we're not.
We're communities.
We need equal representation from all
we
communities.
all present the board. Nothing in statute says that we have to do that.
Well, the way the language is written
It doesn't have to be thus saith the law. I mean, it's just a good idea to have that representation from across the county, because everybody loves their libraries, and it's an opportunity to serve.
It is, but there's no reason, us not having it in there doesn't mean that someone can't have someone from Westmoreland. Nothing in this language, crossing this language out, says that we can't have someone from Westmoreland, we can't have someone from Portland.
But it says may, so it's not a have to, it's a may, but it's a good guideline to have that.
It's a good aspiration. When I've been to the library in Portland twice recently, but I don't live in Portland. I only know a handful of people in Portland. And if I walk down the street in Portland, nobody knows me. But everybody knows Anita. And everybody would know somebody from Portland that was serving on the board. It's a good basic tenet of Republican government to have people who are governing be among the governed. And in this case, I think it should be an outright requirement, but I'm not going to win that fight. I think we should at least retain it in the bylaws as an aspiration.
Who here's from Hendersonville? Who here's from Gallatin? Okay. Who here is from Portland? Who here is from Millersville? And who here is from Westmoreland? Okay. So, again, if the commissioners wish to say, hey, you know what, we want to do that, then that's their prerogative to appoint us. But in my opinion, having in the bylaws causes confusion, and
What happens if we don't have somebody from any of them?
It does say may, so it's not binding, but I think we are stepping into the commissioner's purview of who they appoint. It's not really up to us to speak into that. Should we also recommend that, the credentials they have, or, even drill down farther?
There's a list out there that.
Well, sure.
None of us are reaching.
Yes, right. I think this,
personally.
and I hear
I
everything you're saying, and I don't disagree, but I'm not sure this is our place.
I just think in our bylaws, as the board governing all of these libraries, I think that we should have this aspiration represented so that the people in Westmoreland who look at this table and don't see anybody from their community at least know that we want somebody from their community on there, that the county commission sees we want somebody from their community on there. And if we take this out, then it doesn't matter, and then next thing you know, you got 9 people from Gallatin, 9 people from Hendersonville.
and the other communities are left alone. I think we have to make it a priority to have representation.
Well, if we were the appointing body, I would be more inclined to agree.
We don't do the appointing of that. I don't think the word is necessary, but, I mean, like, I would like to ask an additional question, what you said. How many of us have been to 3 to 5 of the libraries in our county? Okay. How many have been to all 5? So for me, I think that we care about who we're responsible for. Yes, I live in Millersville. I've been in there more often. I've sat down and done puzzles and things like that and been a part of there. I know them very well. But I also have been to all of them, have gotten to know so much of the staff of most of them, and I care about them. And so I don't think that we have to put wordage for things that we're not responsible for. Mm-hmm. We are not responsible for appointing, a lot of people think that. We are not responsible nor have any power over who is appointed to this board.
But your resumes are lovely.
Yes. But I just don't think the wordage is important for us to come from us.
And also, as a governing document, in my opinion, governing document is a shall and is definitive and should be talking about everything that we have authority over. We have no authority over this. So having aspirations in a governing document, in my opinion, has no place. So, did you have a question?
No, I was going to make a comment. I was looking into what we discussed a minute ago. If you all come to a point,
okay,
you can come back to it when you're ready.
Any other discussion on that? I hear where you're coming from, but I just want to have the in here. Oh, yes.
Just a comment, which is not, because I kind of get what you're all saying about, representing and all that stuff, but I think what you're saying is very important, that this is a board for all the libraries, and that you don't have that, and you have power over that to make sure that all the board members do this at all the libraries, and just kind of represent the entire library. Which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, very important. Yes.
Let's go back to the removal of members that we talked about earlier.
Okay.
By code, it's set for a term of years, membership on this board by 10.3.103, code 1. Just talks about the number of years that they've appointed. And there's also some pushback on the contrary here in 10.3.104, which says you can adopt your bylaws and regulations. So there's some tension right there between those two statutes in terms of whether that would be something that's permitted or not. I believe it's, something that I wouldn't recommend that you do. It could be legally suspect, since the statute does say a term of years for the appointment. That term of years is 3 years. So I see where you're coming from with 10.3.104, but I would be very careful with that.
Okay. Well, the great thing is that when someone comes on and they accept to be a board member, they can say yes or no to the bylaws, and they can decide on whether or not they want to be a part of the board.
For example, county commissioners, they have no obligation to attend meetings. They're there for 4 years regardless. There's no way you can, kick someone off of a county commission for not attending meetings, for example.
But they're also elected officials, and there's no recourse or recall for elected officials, but for board members there is.
There is?
Yeah.
I'm just saying be careful with that one.
Okay. Well, but you're saying that it doesn't necessarily say we can't do it, correct?
I'm saying 10.3.104 allows you to adopt bylaws and regulations.
Okay.
10.3.103 says the number of term of years that members are appointed to the board.
Okay.
So there's that tension there, between those two, and that any adoption of such a rule could be suspect.
Okay, but your term is 3 years, but then you also are under bylaws, correct?
Yes, the bylaws apply. You're free to create bylaws. Yes.
Okay. And in those bylaws, it doesn't say that we can't put a removal purpose, correct?
Yes, your bylaws do not say, your bylaws say that you can do that.
Okay.
Your bylaws, you can do that through your bylaws if you wanted to, but there's a possible conflict with statute.
Okay.
So
But,
you're aware of
but
that.
it is an indefinite conflict with statute, correct?
There's very few sure things in the law, there's a lot of conflict.
Okay.
I'm telling you, just be careful with this because you don't know what the consequences might be in the future, so
Okay.
be very careful with that.
So the statute says the term of 3 years, and if we arbitrarily decide for whatever reason, lack of attendance, that we remove somebody, that's where the tension's gonna
Well,
be.
it's between 10.3.103 and 10.3.104.
Yeah.
10.3.103 sets the term of years, so 3 years. And then, of course, 10.3.104 says that we're allowed to adopt bylaws and regulations. There's the same thing in there about, you know, what's in those bylaws and regulations. That's why there's some ambiguity there. That's, you know, I just be very careful with that, what you do with that.
If you
err on the
change,
side of caution.
if you change the language from will to may, that would leave it a little bit, you know, we could do it, maybe, but that would alleviate a little bit of the
Not
conflict.
required to do it, based on the,
It's not a requirement.
That's what we do in the nonprofit world as a rule. It's a possibility because, you know.
Okay. Here's my problem with the will and the may. So when you put may in, people come back and be like, well, why didn't you remove her or him? And you did remove her or him. That, to me, opens up a whole nother can of worms. But go ahead.
Just what I wanted to say was that what we see when that type of language is in there is usually that the board may or can recommend removal of a board member, and the recommendation will go to governing body.
That's what I was, if you want to do this, that's what I would suggest. Is that what boards do that you've seen?
Yeah, if it's in there, that's usually what the language that they use,
That's
because
what
they're not
would
appointing
say.
anyone.
So I'll be comfortable with
Then
that.
they would go back to the,
To the
commission, or the appointing body.
But,
That makes
so there's an issue here, is because, you know, there's a new Senate law that just went into effect that actually allows local governing officials to remove board members easier without due process and without cause. And that just went into effect, okay? So, and one of the arguments is that, well, boards don't have the ability to remove these people, but that's incorrect. Because as you said, we have bylaws that we can create in order to remove people that are not doing their job. Because according to Senator Farrell Hale, on the floor of the Senate, in his argument for this, he said that the only reason for this Senate bill, according to William Lambert too, the only reason for this bill is to make sure that people are not doing the people that are not doing their job on these boards and are not in attendance can be removed. Now, the great thing is that our bylaws set an attendance policy, and we can remove them. It doesn't say we can't. Now, the commissioners, I'm assuming this new law that was just put into effect is just supporting what we have in the bylaws. That if someone's not in attendance, you know, Farrell Hale and William Lambert, then
That law would allow the county commissioners
correct.
to.
So what I'm saying here is that if there's going to be a law to put into effect for people that aren't doing their job and aren't showing up, why can't we put it in our bylaws? There's nothing that doesn't say that. And we're just doing what Farrell Hale and William Lambert is trying to make sure that's done on these boards, right? We're just making sure. And it's been in our bylaws, and nothing in any statute says that we can't do that as a board.
Well, there's some tension between the two.
There's tension,
Because there's a term of years.
but there's a tension between anything.
The term of years, you serve that full term of years unless
Okay.
you resign or die, something like that. Or,
Okay.
you know, so I think Cecilia's recommendation is something that I would feel very comfortable with if you all considered it.
And it's really just a change of a word or two, right?
In my opinion, if we're going to be on the board and these are governing documents, my opinion is that you can, let's table this, but in my opinion, we have an attendance policy. Again, there's tension, but there's you put tension between any laws. And these have been around for 2 years and no one has said anything about this. And according to the new state law, it's just about removing people that aren't doing their jobs, aren't showing up. But it's up to you guys.
And so just reflecting what this Tennessee state law has been changed to is what you're...
Well, no, because the state law doesn't actually say that.
Oh.
Just federal health says that that's the only reason he's putting this forward. So that was the intention of the bill, but although it doesn't say it in the law, but that's the intention.
I mean, I respected it when I read it, and I saw that was a requirement. And like that, and to me, I don't understand there's tension and all, but when I read it and I signed my name, to agreeing to those things, I mean, I was saying, I understand that I'm going to be here, and if I can't, that I will notify. I mean, because those are, as far as I understand, those are unnotified absences.
Yep,
There's a lot of understanding and a lot of grace there, but it's about unnotified absences, and it's to save the board from having people who just don't come on a regular basis.
Yep.
So, to me, it's, I don't know, we haven't had to enforce it, because most people who are respectfully taking the position
Everybody here especially.
agree to it.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to, if we don't have not more discussion, is there any more discussion? Because it is almost 5 o'clock and we've already been here for an hour and a half.
I know, we're only on 8.
I know. So, so I'll entertain a motion, if there's no further discussion, to amend the quorum under Article 5 meetings, say, under B, to say, a quorum is a majority of the board, excluding vacant seats, must be present in person to conduct business, and a quorum for the transaction of the business shall consist of majority of the board, excluding vacant seats. Yeah, so that language. So moved by Mike, do I have a second? Second by Kaylee. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
No.
Abstention? No?
2 noes.
No. All right, and then I will entertain a motion to accept bylaws as amended, with all the other, changes. So moved by Kaylee, second by Mike. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
No.
No by Jackie and Paul. Any abstentions? Okay, all right, okay. We are going to move along a little bit quicker now. All right, so I'm going to open up for the challenged books. All right, this was requested by Commissioner Terry Boyd, and so I made sure to put together a list of these challenged books, and ones that were for the forum, and even the ones that I read from. So I'll entertain a motion to open this up for discussion.
So moved.
So moved by Mike. So second by Kaylee. On favor, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. First of all, I want to say that in the thing that we read earlier, it is the duty of the board to create policies, but also to make sure that the policies are enforced. So, if any board member goes into a library and sees that a policy is not being enforced, they have the responsibility and the duty to go to the library director and enforce the policy, and also to bring that to the attention of the board. When it comes to collection and development policy, because we are wanting to make sure that books are not in the hands of minors, that are sexually explicit, and we were required by the state, by the law, to make sure that our libraries are safe for minors. If you see a book that is not following policy, I would encourage you to remove that book, to bring it to the attention of the director, and in my opinion, it is your responsibility and duty to do that as well. So, there were a lot of books. Portland got a heavy list. Hendersonville got a few. Gallatin, there are a few. I, too, went into Millersville yesterday and brought to the attention 9 books. And I went into Westmoreland, brought to the attention, I think it was, like 4, 5, and then a series. Yeah. One, I want to say first, thank you so much. She was just, hey, all right, got them, pulling them. We're going to take a look at them. No problem at all. And I went into Millersville. I brought it to the attention of Amy, and she was like, okay, well, I'll have you fill out a form. Okay, and it was like, well, I want to make sure that I'm treating everybody equal. I'm a board member, okay? Now, it's okay if your insistence, I will go ahead and fill out a form. But as a board member, if I'm bringing books to you, to your attention, believe me, I'm going to make sure that the whole board knows. And I would encourage you to show. But for me to, her to be, well, fill out a book if I want to make sure everyone's equal. It was a little, I was a little taken back by that. But, so anyways.
I would have done it voluntarily anyway. I mean, I would have done that first. But I was a librarian that had to exercise that policy.
Sure.
And so that would have been my first thing is,
But that form is for constituents to do it. I was going in as a board member to make sure the policy was being, and that's fine. What I did, it's not about me putting myself above it. Jackie, it is not about me putting myself above anybody.
I have a question. Once a book has been challenged, though, according to the policy, then the director has the responsibility to verify that the challenge is valid.
Correct.
And if so, then she recatalogs the book, reshelves the book. If not, she can reshelve it, but she has to notify the person that challenged the book.
Correct.
Okay. I think if that's the case, and then if that book is an appeal, then it has to come before the board.
We have to be notified of all challenges.
Okay, then there needs to be a paper trail for any of that. So
There's supposed to be a paper trail.
there should be a paper
That's a
trail.
part of the collection
And
policy, and
as
some of those are available at some libraries and some of those are not. But there is a form to be filled out that's a part of the collection policy, and it's meant to be at each location, and it's meant for public to come and fill out. I mean, I do understand a paper trail, but if we're coming in as board members, I do think that the paper trail, yes, but a matter of a list of the books that we're doing or something like that, but it's obvious that it's coming through us, coming through the people who have actually created the policy.
And I'm going to, and just so you know, I had every intention of emailing everybody about that. She just happened to send it before I did. So I'm not going to go into it. Oh, yeah. He sent it. Yeah. So I'm not going to,
I would just advise, I think if I was a director at one of these libraries, if any book is brought up and said this book violates the policy, I think at that point, no matter who brings it, that triggers a process. And we need to stick to that process, because if we don't, no matter who does it or how it comes aboard, that presents problems for the legal people if we get into that area, which some of this stuff could eventually. I think paper records are good.
So, do you think they that? All right, so I wanted to bring up some of these books that, maybe quick about this. Some of these books were sexually explicit, but some of them had to do with transgender and gender ideology and gender confusion. And I was a little taken back by some of these that were actually in the kids section. It all of a sudden, whoa. And so, one is Call Me Max. It says, when a baby grows up to be transgender, it means that the grown-up who said they were a boy or a girl made a mistake. Okay. The illustration on this page depicts a young girl, Max trusts, as a boy speaking to a young boy named Stephen. Okay. Love, Violet. This talks about a little girl that is in love with another little girl. What if Violet couldn't give her a Valentine? What if Mira didn't on her Valentine? My Maddie. But lots of parents are neither a boy nor a girl. Like my Maddie. Maddie is used in some physics families to describe a parent who is transgender or gender diverse. Gender identities like this are often referred to as non-binary. Bud gets dressed. This is pretty amazing. This little boy, that's basically a toddler, goes in and finds that dad's clothes are too big, but mom's clothes fit perfect. How does that happen? How does dad not say that mom's fit? Because I'm hoping that mom's a little bit bigger than toddler. It just magically fits. Okay? And then it depicts him dressed as a girl standing in front of his mother, father, and dog. And then Precious goes and finds pearls and thinks about how mom does her hair. What toddler is trying to go and do their hair and can know how to do their hair in a bun? This one, Tango Makes Three. It's about penguins. And it talks about how the zookeeper found that these two male penguins must be in love with each other because they're together and they're, oh my gosh. And then, so the zookeeper decides to give them, and then the penguins thought to themselves that they watched boy and girl penguins and they could have a baby when they can't have a baby. So the zookeeper decided to give them an egg to hatch. Now, scientifically, they had done that. But I'm trying to figure out how did they know the penguins were jealous of the mom and dad. I'm just trying to figure that one out. Okay? So I'm trying to, actually, a lot of this stuff is not correct. Okay? Drama, Lord have mercy. This story is about 7th and 8th graders struggling to determine their sexual orientation, as well as hiding from parents who don't understand and won't accept them, even though the rest of the world will celebrate them. So we have books that are basically teaching kids to hide their feelings from their parents. It's a very divisive book, encouraging instead of discouraging parental guidance on issues of sexuality is one of the best safeguards against our early sexualization and grooming of our children. So, and I have a whole lot of references to why children, if they do have these questions, should be going to their parents, especially in adolescence. And so I'm a little taken back by some of these books that were brought for a challenge. Also taken back by videos and a bunch of the children's sections. And a lot of the other stuff that was brought up is very sexually explicit. And so I do know that this is a hot topic right now. And in my opinion, I believe that we should construct a policy around this, because I'm sorry, but it means that a grown-up who says they were a boy or girl made a mistake. Okay.
Well, teaches you not to trust your parents.
Exactly. And teaches you not to trust grown-ups. And again, I looked at the front of a lot of these books. They look very innocent, very just like, oh, it's a kid's book. I would be like, wow, you open it up and all of a sudden, this is not something that should be, So I just want to bring those up, challenge books, And, in my opinion, this needs to be looked at in policies and procedures, policies and bylaws. Is it having to do with policy, or is it having to do with the books?
Policy and policy. So last year when you created the collection development policy, and I don't, this is me not knowing, but have you, so going through the procedures that are already listed in here, how many times have you done that? Or is that something that have you kind of tested out this policy? That's basically what I'm asking. Because this sounds like to me, like you have a bunch of challenge books, and the policy was kind of created to make sure that each of those books were kind of going through this, like going through this process and seeing if it works.
All of them are going through the process right now.
Because I think that, looking at each, I mean, I'm sure there, and it sounds like you're right, there might be some stuff in each of these books that's problematic, but having, focusing on one book at a time and maybe having a committee, I don't know if this is something that you guys do, but having a committee that goes through and reads at least, goes through each of these books very carefully to then make a decision about what you want to do with them.
Well, right now, Anita has them pulled, and she's looking. But I wanted to look at these books, and I wanted to see what was going on with these books. Just so, we're looking at them, and I was like, wow.
So she's looking at the book.
Right now she's looking at them.
And then the recommendation from her will come to the board. Is that how that works?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have to know all the challenges, because here, the reason why we have this is because,
Point of order, I think.
One second, Paul, is because they're looking at it, but we are to be notified of the books so that we can also know what's being challenged, so that gives us the authority that if we want to look at the books and be like, no, we can pull them if we want to. Because all in all, it comes down to us. As stated in the resolution, as brought forth by the commissioners, it is our responsibility to make sure that the libraries are safe. So whether or not their decision is, and if we go, no, we kind of want it, it's really our responsibility. So the buck stops with us, and that was told to me by our attorney when we made the collection development policy. Basically, the buck stops with us. So.
But the way the policy is currently constructed, the directors have the first decision.
Correct.
And then the decision may be appealed, and it has to come before the full board. But
it doesn't mean that we can't pull a book if we don't want to.
No, we're citizens. We can go in and we can challenge the book too.
As a board, we have full authority to do that as well. Okay, all right, moving on to C, pay for service. Any other discussion on that?
So we're not looking for any action on B?
No, there's no action.
Okay.
Just a report, and then letting you know that policies and bylaws, I do want to address this in policies and bylaws.
Okay.
Pay for service, Westmoreland interim director. I'll entertain a motion to open up this for discussion.
So moved.
Second.
Jim, Mike, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? I want to say right now that Phyllis is doing an amazing job, and what I have found out is that she was dropped a lot of things on her lap that I really feel she wasn't aware of that was going to be her responsibility, and there was a lot of details left out. And so Phyllis is doing absolutely phenomenal. She asks for help. As we know, Shannon was supposed to go up into the budget with her. And Pam, you can attest to that as to what Shannon had said, and then Phyllis really needed help. And she did great. She was just like, I didn't know it's supposed to do the budget. I was like, yeah. But she's doing great. Found out yesterday also that I told her, we have to keep the windows going. She's like, oh, we do? I was like, yeah. the money's gonna go away. She's like, oh, I didn't know that. So, also didn't know that she had to do, reports for us. I'm like, oh, okay. So I helped her through that as well. So we were told that she knew exactly what she was doing, and it just breaks my heart that there's some things that were missing. But for us, we support you, and you have my cell phone number and Pam's number, and Pam, you can talk to the whole budget thing.
Oh, I will when you do the report.
Okay. So, I believe that, it's taken a minute to find, a director, and in my opinion, I believe that Ferris is doing a bang-up job, and I kind of feel like I'm dealing with Alicia all over again. Like, what do we do? And that's okay. So I believe that she should get, a raise in pay, and back pay as well. In my opinion, she took the position January 31st. And the hardest time during budget season. And in my opinion, she should get a pay. And I'm going to ask entering a motion to suspend Robert's rules so we can talk to her.
Second.
So moved by Kaylee, second by Mike. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Hey, fellas, you're doing amazing. And we are here to support you. I will drive up there, whatever you need, okay? And I know Pam has come to visit you, and anybody here come and see you, and if you need a volunteer, come and help, okay? And I apologize, I meant to bring the budget in front of me.
She has it.
You have the budget?
It's in her packet.
It's in the packet, okay, great. So what is your pay at this time? $17? Do you get salary?
No.
You're 17, oh Lord.
Yeah, and I'll just set up to 35 now. Back in the day.
Okay.
When the original crew was there, okay, we alternated Saturdays. And so it was just a 35-hour thing for all full-time except for the director.
Okay.
At that time, the director only got 40. I am basically, well, Angie's had her small time since the baby and everything.
Okay.
But, I'm the only one left at the 35 mark. Everyone else is at the 40 mark.
Oh.
Yeah. And,
are you the interim director?
right.
Okay.
But so, I don't know how they'll back pay me for that part of the spring, because I do.
We'll figure it out with finance.
Salary, right?
Yes, we'll figure it out with finance.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that would be,
Oh, okay.
that would be wonderful, because I need a little bit extra time instead of being employees and,
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely.
And I know you're reaching out to some of the other that are being helpful for you, so.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Really quickly, okay. So, all right, well, thank you so much. I'm going to bring us back into session because I want to move through this really quickly here. So, in my opinion, we should bring her up to, and let me know your thoughts, the director pay while she's as interim director, and figure out with finance what that means for back pay. And, but what are your thoughts?
And that current pay is $1 million.
Absolutely. $1.2 million. $1 million. Exactly. So, all right, I'll entertain a motion to bring her up to salary with back pay from January 31st.
So moved.
Yeah, second.
So moved by Jim, second by Mike. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. All right, any abstentions? All right, wonderful. All right, there you go, folks. You're up there. Now it's 60 hours a week.
Could we take a break? Restroom break?
Okay,
Quick potty break.
okay, quick potty break, okay, motion for recess right now.
So moved.
So moved by,
Jim.
second by, call back into session. All right, during the recess, the directors came to me and asked if we could put their reports next, only because some of them have baseball games to go to and a revival to go to. And I entertain a motion to just amend it so that they can do their director's reports real quick, and then we will go quickly afterwards. Okay? So moved by Paul, second by Jackie. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? And just a reminder to the directors, it is 3 minutes. We ask that you stick it to 3 minutes, okay? So first, we're going to go with Gallatin. With Gabby.
I tried to make a list short. I'm going to tell you about some of the programs that we have going on right now. They're super exciting and have really crazy big numbers that have surprised us, so we've kept them going. Mahjong is a new game that has taken over the library. We had to do private groups, and then we had people asking us, because they saw them playing at tables in this library, if we would teach a class, and thankfully we have a couple of staff that do play it, but they're not like 20, they're more groups of 4, but so they're having a lot more than, I've never even heard of Mahjong until last year. It's just quirky and weird. We had a Pokemon Day, a Valentine's event, those were great, they were through the whole library, the new girls really got to put in their work, like, they got to have some ownership over it because they're wonderful and it's just a goal. We've had some staff changes. I emailed y'all about the children's librarian, and so we have moved the operations manager to the children's position, and one of my full-time clerks is now the operations manager. And the children's librarian, she has a master's in guidance counseling, and she was a teacher for like 14 years. And I don't think we could have, she has seen holes since she started as an operations manager and things were missing, and she has hit the ground running, and it's just beyond perfection, and everybody's really happy. We also had a piano video. I'm not sure if y'all know, we have the baby grand piano, and people just walking off the streets and play it. And we had a viral moment on Facebook, and it has like 800,000 views on it. And that was pretty funny for a live video of somebody that walked off the street. And it's just neat seeing how far people are hit got to. But they got mad at us because we didn't his name, because he never actually spoke to us. He just came in and played walked out. We've been doing a lot of our planning for the summer reading program, and we're really focusing on arts this summer and creating and all kinds of, we're kind of mixing in sports and dancing and reading and art and all the medias, and it's just, this is going to be one of my favorite summers ever because of art. We've also been taking our mobile library to the winter market at the chamber, and it's so much better than the summer farmers market that we go to because it's inside and it's climate controlled and it's got way more vendors for some reason. And it literally goes from 9 to 2, and there are hundreds of people coming through there, and we take free books that we get from donations and stuff, and we just give away a little books and get our name in their view, whatever. And then we also have the AARP that's doing taxes again this year. That's completely volunteer run, and they do it every year at the library. And so far this year, we are not done. There are 363 people, families that they have prepped taxes for, seniors and lower income people, and it's all for free, and they're just kind and wonderful, and just thank you to local AAR people.
All right, thank you. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it. All right. And this is not only for our benefit, but she wants to go see her son play, right? All right, Alicia for Hendersonville.
I have a picture of us that forgot it about 4:30 from the week off. Our biggest moment of this past quarter was the teen room expansion and the ribbon cutting. We had representatives from Washington State region as well as just local people come to celebrate that, the reason why we had to do that, and you'll have, there's a copy of the newspaper in front of you. Our standard attendance went from 12 to 260, I believe, a month, so we just grew out of that space and had to create something new. We've been out in the community, starting this year. We've been hosting puppy sales with Sumner County Humane Society, which has encouraged a lot of adoptions, and they've been very happy. We're taking story times to the Little Sunshine Playhouse, with our children's library, partnering with Mathnasium for APC Prep, calculator literacy workshops. We've also partnered with Community Life Growth and Vitality, doing community outreach for our senior citizens. We have one in-house learning technology. 25 seniors were busted to attend that, and they want to keep coming back. The Sumner County Master Gardeners have been a huge hit with us, and we love our partnership. They started a whole lecture series that we'll be going through where you can learn more about planting and everything that comes with plants. I just lost all my words. We have the art council event coming up, so we have professional painters and everything just displayed around, as well as the on the support side, we have received donations from Costco, Rooms to Go, Texas Roadhouse, Raising Cane's. A lot of it was spurred on by them seeing the growth of the teams and really wanting to invest in that next generation of readers. Coming up, we have Rosie coming back, the Benue Borough for Pony Express Day, and we will be hosting our third and biggest hit autism awareness event. We have tea tables at this point of different community members coming in to share that. We're starting a collaboration with the Gallatin Astronomy Club for star parties for people to learn about using their telescope. So to the library system is coming up, and the team program is starting a series, How to Land Your First Job. So that's 1 month. Next month is the job fair. The next month is meeting with financial advisors to learn what to do with that basis once they get it. With increased patron usage, we've also had an increase of incidents. Those have been reported to the board, and we're working with HCD to encourage further training, as well as potentially looking at some upgrades for our cameras to be able to correctly identify people when they are a problem. In your packet, and not listed on there, I'd like it added to the next agenda. The Boy Scouts would like to build a little library outside of our library. The plans are in there, and that's just for consideration. It was just dropped on me as I was walking out the door.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alicia. Chip? Right there. Okay. All right. Okay. And Westmoreland, it's Phyllis?
I don't have too much. I just, well, the weather and flu and stomach bug. Oh, my people. And then a little bit more. But, so it's been really touch and go, but our programs are running great. The only thing I know is our homeschool program is not too successful, too huge. When we try to scale it back, there was no scaling back, so we just had to cut it out. When I went into the room where the children were, because you can't have it in one of our big rooms, because of the littler brothers and sisters, and they're there. But when I went into the room where we had, the age group at and counted, and it was working out like a little over 2 people for the fire marshal.
Oh.
So there was just no way to call it back. So we found that in partnership with one of the churches, like a satellite program. So I wish the adults could do that, your crickets, anyway, but anyway, they just will not show up. I don't know if it's because we're such a community town. But other than that, our paint job is done. We just, Warren had put in for the paint, and she picked out the colors. It looks awesome in there. It's got spray new. And then, of course, we're working on summer reading, and we've got all these big ideas. I hope we can execute all of them. Yeah, and that's about it. And we're moving on to the programs, and everything is going through it. And
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Phyllis. All right. Sorry, hold on a second. Okay. All right, and Millersville, Amy?
I'll be real quick. We're on point for our budget. This was the second year I got to go to the one that was at the elementary school, and it's so much fun. I hope I get asked back next year, because if you've been in Sumner County, you know what a huge thing that is, what a big secret is, and like, I'm good at keeping secrets until it's something really exciting, and then I'm like, okay. So it was really hard, and it was so much fun. The kids loved it. I was there for a couple of hours. We have gotten so much positive feedback from our updated hours. So many moms are coming in early at 9, and I'm like, okay, so I can have a little bit of coffee, but let's go for it. And everybody has been so thankful that we've been open on Thursday. They love that our mental health for our staff is closed Sunday, Monday, having those 2 consecutive days off. It's doing really well with that. And at this point, we have had confirmed 5 people get jobs from our resume builders program that we've been doing, and that was really, really exciting. That's great. Especially in Millersville, it's really exciting. This was our first winter reading program since pre-COVID, and we had 80 participants, and that's amazing. It was a 2-week long reading program. It was long distance. That's a fun little department. We are continuing to work on updating our holding codes, our mark records. We are getting donations for our library things and trying to figure out how to get that cataloged and bagged and put out. The things that we do have that are out, the community is really loving it. They're giving us suggestions. They really want fishing poles. See, it is the season. I just am sitting on White House fishing about it. We've just been we've finished all of our staff professional development for the year. I'm the only staff left, so you can have like 9 hours. Sorry, I'll get there. I'll get to that. Let's see, we finished all of our staff development. I just found out recently that Olivia, one of our clerks, is moving on. First, she wants to live with her, and I feel very selfish with her, so she got a job in Washington, so she's moving. There was a real quick turnaround. Jesse very quickly, like, I have got a job, I'm leaving. I had like 2 or 3 weeks. It was not a lot of notice, and so we just hired a new ops clerk. She's fantastic. I think she'll fit in well once she gets used to the ropes. She's amazing. We're growing and growing and growing. We had a small program today and only had 25 people. So we're just doing great things. I'm working with the finance committee to find out the finance department, primarily Beth, to see if there's the funds to help cover the discrepancies for the benefits market.
Thank you.
Is this the discrepancy that was before?
The benefits one?
I thought that you had already figured that out.
No, I didn't have enough in my budget at that time, and so now that it's closer to the end of the fiscal year, I'm looking to see if I do have any additional funds that can be moved over. That's why it's been put into old business to be talked about at the budget committee in May. And so I'm working with that to see if, because I definitely need her to double check my math, especially if there's like leftover funds in like my payroll line that I can move, which is why we had to wait till so close to the end of the year, because some of our employees don't want to make up the part-time, don't want to make up the hours if they're not on the trip.
Okay. Can you be sure to put myself and Pam on those emails, please? Because I thought that it was already taken care of.
Okay.
Thank you so much. And just moving forward, anything that you guys are doing with your budgets needs to have me and Pam on those DCs. Because again, like I said before, we're the ones that are supposed to be looking at every line item that's going on. Huh? And it's fine. I've told us that, and honestly, if finance forgets, they have a lot of things to overlook. It's really the responsibility of you guys to make sure that we're on it. Okay. And last but not least, Florence.
Did everybody get to drive up the package here in the middle of the table? Yeah, seriously. Lauren is really settling in the children's area and everything. She is just in her element. She loves the kids, all the programs that she's doing and everything. She's just continuing on. Just to put a face with the name, that is Miss Linda that actually retired after she Yeah. So Lauren took her place and she's just continuing on with all the great programs that Linda had just started and everything, and coming up with new ones that she's wanting to do. I get at least 2 or 3 emails a day from her. Can we do this? Can we do this? Can you give me this? Can we do this? Sure. So Lauren is doing great. There is actually a picture on here, if you guys will see up in the corner there. We had the For the Love of Chocolate, February 14th. Any of you are chocolate lovers and would love to volunteer to be a judge next year? They asked me if I would do it, and I said, no, I can't do that much sugar at one time. But it was great. We actually, the winner was a chocolate raspberry quart. I believe so, yeah. There was no actual flour in it. Wow, okay. We did have our art show, and I think I told you guys about that in January. William Lee Golden himself actually did show up at the very end and everything, so I was one of Hendersonville's artists. We also had David Wright. He showed up. We got nothing but amazing reviews. I mean, as far as everybody, the artists, everybody that came in, it was over for the whole month of February. People just constantly, we printed up over 200 catalogs that showed where album pictures were, every single one was on. So it was the whole thing. So, and the question that everybody kept asking was, are you going to do it next year? Are you doing it next year? So we were like, of course, yes, absolutely. Awesome. We do have a new program that we're actually going to start. This is Jolene over here. She's actually in our Hooks and Needles Club, and we've had a lot of interest from younger people wanting to know if they can come, and we were like, absolutely, but they said they don't necessarily want to sit with the older people, you know. So we've come up with a new group that's actually going to call Young Yarners. We're going to have it at the same time as the other group that we're saying. So but we're going to have it at the same time so they can actually, if somebody in the one group gets out, they can ask for help from somebody else in the other group.
That was pretty quick, but that's where the good gossip is.
Exactly, yeah.
Exactly.
And it is springtime, so our seed library is completely open. We have tens of thousands of seeds, everything from rhubarb to tobacco seeds. I mean, we have a whole plethora of things. We also actually have a plant swap coming up. I believe it's in April, so we're going to have a plant swap where you can bring in plants or take home plants, either one. So it's a whole plant swap and everything, yeah. And I think I had brought up last time that we were kind of giving a little advance notice and everything for us to come to the Portland Chamber of Commerce meeting for their awards and everything. We didn't really know what it was, but I did send you the email out. We were very honored by the city of Portland with the Community Impact Award.
Awesome.
And I did not realize that it was such a big deal, but it was actually the very last award that was given out that night, and it was the All Nation.
That's the big one.
Exactly, yeah. We got standing ovation, so Linda was there with us, I took her, so this was the 2024 year and everything, but we do have that award sitting on our counter at checkout and everything for everybody to see. It's strictly all them, I do nothing for it, it's all the clerks and everything up front, it's just amazing. I tell you how blessed I am every time when I come up here, but like, it's truly true. I am blessed to have such an amazing library and such an amazing staff.
Thank you so much, Anita.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Any questions? Anybody good?
Nope, we're good. All right, thank you guys so much. Have a blessed night. Okay. Oh, she's you're staying with us, Cecilia, right? Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the April Library Board meeting date. And generally,
already in here, don't we?
Yeah, we have a study.
Well, a study session for April 9th.
Yeah.
So we're going to turn that into.
I just need to ask Pam or tell Pam I'll give you a Friday morning. Okay, send you an email. Okay, that's perfect. Okay.
Thanks so much, Annie.
Okay.
So the study session is April 9th, so we'll just turn it into a regular meeting. Is everyone good with April 9th at 3:30?
Yep.
Okay? All right.
Question.
Yes.
Since we're talking about a board meeting date, that September 10th board meeting date is in conflict with the trustee training date that they announced earlier, which I would dearly like to attend that trustee training. I'm wondering if we can get that on the agenda next, at that set, I guess maybe I just email that, because we can't talk about it now, can we? Can we talk about that date?
Well, you can just email us. I mean, we can change it in April. That's
Okay,
fine.
that'll work.
Yeah. So I just want to move along here.
Sure.
So, okay, so you can get to your stuff. Yes. Okay, so, entertain a motion for April 9th, 3:30 p.m. for our next meeting.
So
Date.
moved.
Okay, so moved by Mike, second by Kaylee. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, great. All right, training for staff check-in. All of our directors discussed. But Cecilia, are you aware of the training, where they're at on that? How are they
I
doing?
don't have the numbers, but Kate has changed, careful attention to it,
Okay.
and we've been sending reminders out, and, these guys come to lots of training, so we see them, so I'm not worried about them.
Okay. Awesome, great. I just found out that that's something we need to be monitoring, so we will be monitoring it.
Yeah, so we kind of do it from our office, and then we ask them to track it on their own too, and then just kind of give us those hours.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we're gonna start having them send to us as well, so we have to monitor it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we wanna make sure that they're all doing their training. All right, next, we're gonna move on to trustee certification update. We have some trustees. Have you finished your trustee certification date?
I'm working
The
on it.
modules?
It's not all the way
Okay.
done, but I am
So one
working
more?
on it.
Okay, awesome. And then,
Finished.
you're finished? Okay, anybody else? Okay. They're all good? Okay. All right. Okay, and then we're gonna move on to donation updates. Yeah. You guys, received, a resolution that was passed on January 27th of 2025 that the money will come, it has been put in a special, fund for the Hendersonville Library. I am now talking with finance to see what is the next step, and budget, to find out what the next step is. So just wanted to give you guys an update. They have accepted the money. Now we gotta figure out what the next step is. Okay? All right? All right, so, all right, the Friends fundraiser, we just need to approve this, if everyone is good with it. The Friends of Portland Library requests permission to hold a book sale fundraiser on Saturday, May 17th. We'll entertain a motion to approve the fundraiser for May 17th.
So moved.
So moved by Pam.
Second.
Second by Jackie. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, great. All right. You're very welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Treasurer's report. Pam?
Yes, ma'am. So, the year-to-date budget, for Millersville, they are at 65% of their budget, and they still have 3 months left, for their budget, so they've done a great job. Portland is at 62% of their budget. All of them have done just phenomenal. And I know that they have a lot of things that they're holding back just to the end of the year to do book purchases and stuff like that. Gallatin is at 64.2%. Moreland is at 65%. And Hendersonville is at, 60%. So, all of them, their line items and everything are great. One of the things that I did just before the budget, because this was my first year on the board and my first year being responsible for the budgets, I did go meet with Beth and spend a couple of hours with her just to try to understand it a little bit more. And I took on the Westmoreland budget, knowing that Phyllis wasn't going to be familiar with what she needed to do. Lauren was there to help on that first go-round. And so I went up there just to make sure that I knew what needed to be done and also what Phyllis needed to be done. And we did have to do a couple of other additions. And when we submitted the budget for Westmoreland, there were two things that were left off of the budget that weren't the line item things to be considered in the budget, but they were for capital funds. And it was computers that they're going to need, 5 computers and a laptop, to the total of about $3,600. And when Phyllis and I went over the budget, it was on the budget, but we didn't have the amount for it, and we did get from Robert, and it was my responsibility to follow up back with Phyllis to make sure that that got included, and it did not get included. So we are going to have to go before the commissioners to have some capital funds allocated for those purchases, because they do need to be made. And there was a little bit of confusion on the AED. Remember, we talked that they needed to be considered as a line item, and then Shannon thought that perhaps we could get them considered for all. So that one did not get included in her budget either. So we will go before the commission and try to address those things. And Phyllis does need some additional help and support, and we're working with the windows and things right now to get those funds because they've already been allocated. So she really does need help, and back to assigning each one of us to a library so that they do have that point of contact. And Shannon was going to, she was assigned to Westmoreland, but I think she felt that, you know, Lauren had been there for so long that she would be able to help Phyllis get through it, and that's just not the case. So Phyllis did a great job. She did the best that she could, and leaving out the AED and the computers was not her responsibility. I mean, it wasn't her fault. It was my responsibility, and I failed to follow back up with her to make sure that those amounts got included. So.
And so Shannon did not go to meet with them at Westmoreland, and did she send you an email telling you?
Yeah, she said she wouldn't. She felt like they knew what they were doing, and so I went up there instead.
Okay, great. Thank you for, I know we both took it on, and as a budget committee member, you know, you're the chair, and we were assigned, and so I'm sorry that she chose not to do that. But we do need to make a motion for these amendments to go before. So, we'll entertain a motion to move forward an amendment to the budget hearings for $3,600, the amount of money to cover the computers for capital funds, and then also the line item for the AED for Westmoreland. So entertain a motion.
So moved.
So moved by Mike, second by Erica. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. And then any other issues with committee with budget committee?
No.
Okay. Okay. All right. Personnel report. Thank you.
With the closing of the job announcement, we had 12 resumes and applications for the director of Westmoreland position. We selected 5 for interview, 4 chose to be interviewed, and those candidates were interviewed on February the 18th. In our attempt to be super transparent, and we painted ourselves into a bit of a corner. And when we went to discuss, we realized that one of the applicants had asked us, I shared with them that the deliberations would, be in a public meeting and recorded on the OWL, and some expressed concern about that, and so it wouldn't be fair to maybe put on blast that these applicants are looking for another job to their current employer. And so we contacted county legal, just made sure that we were dotting I's and crossing T's, and hey, that is the process, and we can't assign the name, the number, and put that in our minutes, but hey, their names have to be read into the record if we're going to deliberate like that. And so, as a result of that, one of them dropped out, one of the applicants dropped out, and so that leaves us 3 to consider who were interviewed, and our plan is to do that next week. There have been a handful that have been out or sick, and that's where we are with the most pressing of personnel issues. I will say this, you know, having tried to do it this way, actually, great wisdom in how it was done before. And, you know, while it doesn't feel that it's, you know, maybe the most transparent way, it is hands down the most efficient way, and the most fair way, I think, to any applicants who want to be a library director. Yeah, so.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, personnel committee is meeting next week. We're the 10:30 or the 11:30? I think we're the 10:30. Yeah, 10:30 is personnel.
Facilities?
Hello. At the last committee meeting, we assigned a facility for each member to do a walkthrough on. I was assigned Portland and Westmoreland, and agreed to go to Gallatin and Hendersonville. And when I asked Commissioner Bergdorf if she could handle Millersville's walkthrough, she refused and said that they could do it on their own. So with that being said, I will go in her place soon. I had the pleasure of visiting with Portland and Westmoreland back in January. Portland is a wonderful facility that has a few updates they want to make, such as replacing outdoor trash cans, a new rug in the lobby, and adding some community room tables. There were no noted concerns at this time. Next, I visited with Lauren at Westmoreland just before she transitioned. They had done many updates and plan to add a few more to this fiscal year, including the computers and the windows. She also mentioned that they'd eventually love to do something with their front door to make it more handicap friendly, and updating the furniture. While I was there, they were in the process of repairing the walls and painting, so I got to see halfway mark. A big goal of theirs was to clean up and declutter their community room so it can be used. They actually said that it's been that way since Lauren started there, and they have never done it. So they have a whole room there that's never gotten to be used because of just the clutter that's accumulated over the years. One thing noted was that the employees and volunteers did not have name tags on, so I questioned that. She said that the staff members have them and need to wear them. They just don't a lot of times, but that the volunteers don't because they don't deal with the public at all. I look forward to getting back there and goals completed. And then lastly, Cam is getting by Gallatin on Friday the 4th, this upcoming Friday the 4th, and then Hendersonville on Monday the 7th. I'm glad to report on them.
Awesome. So 2 things I heard there. Maybe we need to give Phyllis the new updated policies concerning dress code and all that as well. Because volunteer, whether they're dealing with the public or not, still need to have a lanyard and need to have a name tag so that...
A lot of times it's a sticker, at least.
Yeah, something, yeah. And then also the refusal of Shannon to go to Millersville, and hearing the refusal of Shannon to go to Westmoreland for the budget. And to my knowledge, I even saw an email about her refusing to go to any meetings before 3:30 p.m. as well. And in our bylaws for committees, there's no time or anything like that. Anybody who's watched any of these knows that our committees meetings are at any point in time. So what I'm hearing is that Commissioner Bergdorf is refusing to do things in both of your committees. Is that what I'm hearing?
She didn't even attend the committee meeting that we had.
Okay.
It was just Kaylee and I.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys letting me know about that. That is disappointing. And it's something that I will address with Commissioner Bergdorf as the chair of the library board, and to ensure that our bylaws are being enforced, and also why we are on committees. We need to do the job of committees. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. So now,
yes,
Cecilia. Woohoo!
40 minutes before.
All right. Yeah, 3 minutes. Go on.
30 seconds.
Okay, first of all, I just want to thank Joanna. I met with Joanna, or Steve and I did, a couple of weeks ago, to go through the board appointments, like who's on the board, who went off, who's replacing who. So all of that is going on, and we're looking through minutes, trying to figure that out. And I sent you an update the other day.
Yep.
finding out.
And just so you know, I am working on that. I apologize, I've been sick.
No,
But,
I'm aware that you're
yeah.
fine, and it's just going to take a little bit, but
Yeah.
we'll figure it out. And I appreciate you bringing up the comparison or responsibility document. That is something that I think we need to talk more about in general. But I do want to say, so you talked about the audit. Usually when you're a county department, like you fall under the county,
Okay.
you wouldn't necessarily get an independent audit. That is not very common.
And that was something I was gonna ask you about, because I was like, whoa, and so.
They're like $30,000.
I know.
Yeah, so I understand that. I was gonna talk to you about that. But I'm literally sitting here going,
Yeah.
no, I understood that some of the stuff didn't apply to us because we aren't that, but I was like, what's an audit?
Yeah.
What?
And the other thing you said, and I didn't have it in front of me, so that's on me, but you talked about removal of items, and that's the role or the job of the library director to do, and that's what we call it reading.
Yeah,
And that is
correct.
actually listed. We track that in the standards, so they're supposed to add about 5% and read about 5%.
It's in our policy too.
And it doesn't really, if they do that, circulation normally goes up. It's a good thing. So,
Yeah.
but, we talk about removal and challenges. I
Yeah.
don't want to confuse this.
Sure, yeah.
Anyway, so I did send you the report out to you guys, and I just gave you a written copy of it. IMLS, which is our federal agency, some of you have been worried about that, and about that being possibly cut, and federal funding being cut, all of those things have been in the news. So our state librarian came out with a statement a couple of weeks ago, and I sent it to all of you, and it's basically the same thing. So right now, there's no sign that we're going to get any federal funding to the state library and the regional libraries, and then again our library. So we are part of what they call statutory projects or programs or whatever. So the money that we receive from IMLS is still safe. So I want to just say that out loud. As of right now, that's what we know. Hopefully that will stay the same. So our library is okay. Okay. The trustee workshop is going to happen on September 10th, and just wanted to get that on the calendar now, and I'm glad that Paul brought that up. So look forward to seeing you for that. The Standards for Public Libraries, for those of you that met with me for an orientation, you know that this is kind of like our Bible, and it lists all the things we want libraries to do to become even better. And we just revised and we just finished that project, so I'll just go through really fast a few of those. Intimate safety and collection development policies should be reviewed annually, and that is part of the library service agreement, so we're just trying to make sure that it reflects the same thing in the standard. So you already mentioned it, and I think it's already in your policies that you're doing this. Bylaws should include your term limits, and they already do, so you're good. We are recommending that you have a code of conduct policy, which I also think you have, and have some guidelines when it comes to public comments, which I also know you have. So I think you're good with all of those. We are asking that all revised policies are filed with the regional office, which makes me very happy because I just use them.
And I've sent you all of our revised ones.
You might have. I'll probably email everyone again and say.
Okay. Okay.
There's lots of little pieces still right now. Still working on the bigger goal.
Yeah. I still remember Amy Eller doing this, Anyway, one thing that we added in here is that library French groups should have a 501c3 status, which I think most of the French groups already have. I think around the state there might be some French groups that don't have that, so that's why we have that in the standards now. And the other part of that is that we're asking that there is an MOU, so a memorandum of understanding between the library and the French group.
I love that.
And we have some templates sent out for that, and yeah, I think that's a good idea. Sometimes, there are two separate organizations that can kind of go in separate directions, they shouldn't. So, it's just kind of saying we're here to support the library, and that's basically what those MOUs say. So I'll send out some templates for that and send it to you guys to see. And then if you had a foundation, we would recommend the same thing, that there would be an MOU with the foundation, which I know.
No, Portland does.
Portland has one.
You guys have to figure that out.
reminder of personal emails, you don't have an issue with that, you're the only board, I think, in my region, or our region, this region, that has like separate emails for, your, you know, being on the board to get separate, which is, we always mention that Sumner has it, a lot of our boards would like that, but getting it. So training for staff, you know, we're just reminding the directors to get that in, and I think they're all doing a good job. And then I have a section here that shows you how much each library has applied for in technology grants, and then how much they have left to spend. And that's just for you to see that, again, they're working with captions to getting that done. And this is the time when all of those purchases are happening. So we're not worried about it. They are going to spend it down, but
Yeah.
it's coming back to you to see that they're actually applying.
Jackie brought that up with the computers and the budgets coming up and everything.
Yeah, but they're doing a good job applying for grants in general. And then we have just an overview here of how much money they have left in state and federal funds to be spent by April 15th. So they're doing a really good job there too. And we have a marketing, social media type of training in Williamson County on April 16th. And that is going to be sent out as well.
Awesome.
That's all I have. Thank you.
I just want to say, Cecilia, thank you so much. You are absolutely amazing at responding to my questions and when I send you emails, and just really appreciate everything that you do and appreciate your guidance on so many things.
Yeah.
Yes.
We appreciate it.
Okay, all right, so we've come to the most exciting part.
Madam Chair, I would make a motion to adjourn.
Second. And Mike, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No. Thank you.